What's the most savage thing you heard a child say to an adult? The other day my 6-year-old daughter was sitting next to me and looked me right in the eye and said, "Why, do you have a mustache? I'm a woman, by the way." My 11-year-old sister to one of my friends, "Hey, did you know that if you were to eat a bee, you would have more brains in your stomach than in your head?" A conversation I overheard between my father and sister. My father, "Can your little legs carry your big smart mouth?" My sister, "Can your legs carry your big stomach?" My ex was a heavy dude. He changed his shirt in front of his 4-year-old nephew, who looked at his belly confused and genuinely asked him if his stomach was his butt. I was at a public safety education event for grades 5-6 representing EMS. I was showing a kid some of the advanced things we do, and her teacher asked, "So, would you want to be a paramedic?" Her reply, "No, I'm going to study business. I want to be able to pay my bills." Still kinda stings. Wouldn't you like to know where the boy little girl was dressed as a fast food worker for Halloween was being given shit by her aunt for her low choice and that she needed to aim higher if she wanted to succeed? Whole thing was really demeaning and weird. Girl fired back with, "I'm only 12. What's your excuse for being poor then?" My 8-year-old niece-in-law was talking to my brother and me. Since her aunt was dating my brother, she asked me who my girlfriend was. I said I didn't have one. She said, "Oh, some people are just supposed to be alone, I guess." Gee, thanks. My 5-year-old niece told my mom to calm her tits. My sister looked at me and said, "You look like you're pregnant, but you're not." When I was around 4 or 5 we went to Canada to attend my grandfather's funeral. It was a long time coming, so my grandmother had been handling it well. We stayed up there for about 2 weeks after, since it was summer, and we usually spent August up there anyways. But this time as we were pulling out of the driveway to head back south, I leaned out the window and shouted by Grandma, "Love you, don't die now." Giving my 11-year-old nieces advice before they start middle school, telling them how mean other tweens can be and that I'm there for them if they need support. One of them responds, "You must have been a real loser in middle school. Thanks." Halloween was coming soon. My sister was talking to one of my 5-year-old cousins. "Hey honey, what do you think your mommy should dress like for Halloween?" "A princess." The kid smiled. "She's way too ugly for a princess. Mommy should be a witch." We kept quiet for the rest of the day. Mommy never knew. My son. Asian store. About 6 years ago. "Daddy, it smells in here," me shushing him, trying to get him to shut up. He continues, "It smells worse than you." Mind you, he has no concept for inside voice. Our friend's son said, "Do you know that my dad cannot satisfy my mother?" His father wished to disappear at that moment. I was playing The Floor is Lava with my then 4-year-old niece. I pretended to start drowning in lava, reaching my hand out to her yelling, "Please help me." My niece pops her head over the edge of the couch, looks straight into my eyes and whispered, "No one is going to save you." I drowned, died, and never played lava with her again. My 4-year-old daughter told me at dinner not too long ago, "You look nice. You don't look like yourself." Well, thanks, I guess. My sister, who is 10, walked up to me yesterday, looked my dead in the eye, and said, "Jesse, you're a whore." Completely out of nowhere. When I was 4 to 5 years old, I was sitting in my stepmom's lap in the car, good old 90s, when car safety was less of a concern, and I was slapping her leg, uncovered because of her shorts. I said, "It ripples like a pool." I did not realize, until I was older, why she was so offended. Last week my husband, who works at a local grocery store, overheard a mother pushing her 2 kids in a cart and complaining about how heavy they were. The older child, probably around 7 years old, looks at her and says, "You're the one who decided to have 2 kids. Looks like someone spends a lot of time at his grandparents' house." A group of adults were talking extremely loud about how stupid certain people were, and that includes young kids. One of the person's kids said, "At least I know I'm dumb." I think of that kid to this day. My sister was a nanny to 2 little girls, ages 2 and 4. She brought them over to my parents' house, and I was just settling in to bake in the sun in my bikini. I opened the deck door to walk outside to greet them, but the door got a little jammed, so I tried to squeeze through, but those freshmen 15 were holding me back a little. Without missing a beat, the 4-year-old turned to her little sister and said in a hushed tone, "You see, she can't get through because she's too fat." My little sister, maybe 4 years old tops, in the elevator at my grandparents' retirement home. Little old lady gets off the elevator and looks back at sees, "Bye bye sweetheart." Sees, "Bye bye scumbucket." Elevator door closes. Standing behind a lady with her son about 5 to 6 years old. It was Christmas time and mother told kid to stop acting up or Santa wasn't coming this year. Kid, "Fuck Santa Claus. I'm sick of hearing about that son of a bitch. I fucking lost it." Nana says George Bush Sr. and I only have one thing in common. We both hate broccoli. My daughter responds, "One day soon, you will have two things in common." My 6-year-old cousin, 4 at the time, told me, "You wear pajamas in the day because you're a disaster." I was picking up my cousin from daycare when a little girl super loudly asked Mom, "Why does your vulva have a mustache?" I was visiting a high-end resort town last month and heard a mother on the sidewalk say, "I wish I could retire here," and her son, 8ish, laughed and said, "You're never going to retire." My mom had my younger sister a lot older than she had me and my other siblings. There is an 18-year difference between us. My mom always talks about how old she is, usually in a joking sense, when it's hard to get up from the couch. They stopped by to visit me the other day, and as my mom got up from the chair, she goes, "Ugh, I'm getting old." My sassy 8-year-old sees goes, "The only thing getting old is you saying you're old." She's too funny. My daughter is a genius and on the spectrum. This has led to some hilarious, in hindsight, encounters. My mother-in-law was spending time with the little one to get to know her better. She was an unplanned life happens adoption and will be our only child. They were folding clothes in my Milback living room when the otherwise silent all day 3-year-old turns to her and says, "My panties are too small to fold." She held up my Mil's underwear she had been folding. "I can fold your panties many times. It is because your butt is so big." My Mil said she then held her underwear up in awe and whispered, "One day I too will be gloriously fat." This one time, when I was a kid, me and my family were out eating at a restaurant. Everything was fine until I noticed the table next to us. The man, a very big man, had a huge plate of mussel and he was scarfing them down like I had rarely seen. Then this man let a serious burp come out. My whole family heard it. That's when I turned around to face the man, looking at him with huge round eyes. He said, "Sorry about that," to which I replied, "Don't worry about it." The guy was around 8 years old. I don't quite remember his reaction, but my dad sometimes reminds me of this story. If you liked this video, smash the like button and subscribe for daily dose of Reddit. Have fun and get reddited.